Okay, so all you have to do is just take the necklace, and there's a small clasp in the back. You just put the other bit in, and there you go. That's how you wear a necklace as a man. Oh, you mean like how to style? Oh, you wanted to know how to pull it off, like what to wear with what style and how to incorporate. Okay, yeah. Yeah, and brand recommendations as well. Okay, yeah, that's what, yeah. Okay. Got you.
Something to buy the button, yeah.
So you've been feeling more and more curious about jewelry. You've probably played around with it a bit. Maybe you have a watch or two, a necklace even, or some beaded bracelets from summer 2012. But more recently, you've been feeling an itch, an urge to experiment more. Try some rings, some short necklaces, long pendant ones, or maybe even get your ears pierced. But will it suit your style? Can you really pull it off? And where do you even get started with it all? In today's video, we cover all of your jewelry questions. First things first, yes, men can also wear jewelry that aren't just watches. And wearing earrings or rings or anything else for that matter does not say anything about your sexuality. Your style is simply a form of self-expression that's meant to be fun and bring you confidence. So don't be afraid to experiment and have fun with it. Now with that said, you'll quickly find that with jewelry, more isn't always better. I usually see people go one of two ways when they get into jewelry. And I've done both myself, so I'm speaking from experience here. One camp tends to go super minimal. Usually guys who have more of a classic style and they like to dress maybe a little more on the formal side of things and just enjoy the classic pieces. They tend to gravitate towards just a simple, minimal watch and maybe a ring on one of the hands or just a wedding band if they're married and leave it at that. And then there's the other camp who just goes full out, stacking necklaces, 3 or 4 rings per hand, bracelets, earrings, the whole shebang, all in one outfit, and actually not just one, but in every outfit. And eventually, as people evolve with their style, I feel like they tend to end up in more of a middle ground between the two. Not too minimal, not crazy overboard. But most importantly, their style of jewelry becomes a lot more defined and intentional to be coherent with the overall style of the individual. And just to be clear, there isn't a right or wrong here. When done tastefully, I think you can pull off jewelry across the entire spectrum, from barely any of it to full-on stacks of jewelry and everything in between. I don't think anyone looks better with zero jewelry. Depending on their style, some people and some outfits will look better with a lot less jewelry, some with more, and some with different kind of jewelry. It all depends on your style. To which you must be wondering, how exactly do I know how much jewelry I should be wearing? Am I more the minimal kind of guy? Or maybe I can get away with a ring or two? Or can I go full on Johnny Depp here? I like to use a special tool to determine this, and I call it the scale of edginess. How edgy is your style on a scale from 1 to 10? 1 being very conservative, so wardrobe made up of slim fit jeans, chinos, perfectly tailored Oxford button-downs. You don't like taking too much risk. All the way up to 10 being extremely fashion forward, willing to try anything, and you're turning heads every time you walk down the street. And your style is very polarizing, so some people will love it and some will hate it. Where do you fit in there? Are you a 3, a 7, an 8? The higher the number, the more jewelry you can probably get away with. And then you need to figure out the style of jewelry which will best fit your overall style of clothing. Because the world of jewelry is vast, there are a lot of choices, and it can get pretty crazy. So let's say you have more of a rocker style. You like skinny jeans, boots, all black looks. You can probably go a little heavier on the jewelry. 2 or 3 rings per hand, and feel free to go bold with the designs. Perhaps a chunky necklace and some statement earrings if you have your ears pierced. I personally kind of like the 1 dangly earring look better than having 2 dangly ones. If you have more of an artsy vibe, have that reflected in your choice of jewelry. Look for rings with an interesting shape, combine necklaces of different lengths together, and look for interesting earring designs like this pearl hoop earring, for example. I absolutely love this recent pickup. I think it's an interesting take on pearl jewelry, which celebrities like Harry Styles and A$AP Rocky popularized with the infamous pearl necklace. And by the way, don't feel the need to wear a watch all the time. I feel like some looks do lend themselves better to just a simple bracelet. Overall, you want your jewelry to complement your existing style, like fries complement a great burger. Say you're going for more of a skater boy look. Perhaps you'll want some loose garments and place the emphasis on a cool stack of necklaces and then tone down the rest of the jewelry. Simple rings and small hoop earrings. Even with a super basic outfit like a white t-shirt and jeans, just adding some subtle jewelry on top, a minimal watch, a silver cuff bracelet, some earrings, and a pendant necklace, this will instantly elevate your look and make it look that much more put together. And that applies even more so to the super casual looks such as loungewear. On their own, a pair of sweatpants and hoodie can look a little boring, but just having those small metallic accents really help elevate the look and show the intention behind it. Jewelry is naturally a great way to make your look more interesting during summer, just because you have fewer layers to play with. But don't discount the styling power of jewelry during even the coldest winter days. Plus, since you're probably wearing big bulky layers, you can get away with chunkier jewelry as well. I personally love the look of a few rings peeking out of the sleeves of an oversized coat. When it comes to your choice of metals, the two main categories, of course, are silver and gold. And then there's different variations of gold and silver, but for simplicity's sake, we'll categorize them into two. So which color jewelry should you wear, you ask? Good question, Tom. Scripting Tim here right away. Hey guys. I'm actually writing the script for this part right now, and my initial thought was that there were three elements that determine the kind of metal that'll look the most flattering on you. Skin color, skin undertone, and hair color. But I don't think that's right, because every time I try to determine the metal based on your skin color or your hair color, I feel like the deciding factor every time just goes back to the skin undertone. And I do think that genetically, this is the factor that will best determine the kind of jewelry, the kind of metal that will look the most flattering on you. So to make it brief, because I've explained it in another video, a fairly easy way to check your undertone, if you can't tell just by looking at your skin, is to look at the veins on your wrist. So if they seem to have more of a greenish color, then you have a warm undertone. If they seem more bluish, then you have a cool undertone. And if you can't really tell, you're probably an in-between, which we call a neutral undertone. So if you're on the warmer side, gold jewelry will tend to look better on you. If you're on the cooler side, silver jewelry will tend to look better on you. And neutral undertones can generally pull off both. But also, in the end, just wear whatever you want, because if you really like a certain metal color, but you're the opposite undertone, I don't think it's the end of the world. For me, the overarching guideline should be wear whatever makes you feel great. One thing you can even do is to mix and match metals. This is a little bit harder to pull off, but when done right, I think it can look great. I would use a pretty neutral color palette, so like cream tones or all black, to really let the jewelry pop. And make sure you have different color metals in each area. So rather than having watches and rings one color and then a necklace in another color, combine the colors in each area. Some pieces even come in mixed metals, which will help tie it all in and make your look seem much more intentional. I don't want to leave you without at least a few brand recommendations, because I can hear this question coming already. So I get my jewelry from a few different brands, and my personal favorites are Thomas Sabo, great for darker, more rocker styles and overall edgier designs, but they do also have some nice, simple pieces. Miensai, my favorite brand for elevated, minimal jewelry. Just beautiful pieces all across the board, and do look in the women's section as well, because they have some gems in there. Misoma, a lot of my gold jewelry is from there, and they have a very diverse selection of styles, so you can really find a bit of everything here. And I especially like their earrings, as they have a great selection of unique looking hoops, and they're also a bit more affordable than the previous two brands, which is always great. Serge Denimus, a UK-based brand, and since I live here now, you know I gotta represent. I have two dangly earrings from them and a cool signet ring with the Vitruvian Man engraved, another brand on the more affordable end. And if I had to put words onto their style of jewelry, I'd say they're quite inspired by medieval times, and they have an antique look but in a cool modern way. And I also tend to browse retailers like Matches Fashion or Farfetch to see if I find some cool pieces from independent designers. And I found some of my favorite earrings that way, including the pearl hoop one we saw earlier. And this concludes my guide to wearing jewelry as a man. I hope you've gotten plenty of value from this video, and if you did, just click or tap that like button and consider subscribing if you're new here. And remember, just have fun with your style, express yourself, and as always, keep on dressing with intention. I'll see you in the next one, my friends. Peace. Misoma. It's so hard to pronounce. Oh my God.